So good evening, everyone. I'm Zen Master Sebastian Rizzon, and I'm going to start today talking a little bit about Zen and meditation and go through some different meditation techniques together. Much of this is derived from my experiences living, studying, and teaching in a Zen Buddhist temple for 16 years. Most of the techniques I'll show you today are things I've personally practiced for about the past 19 years. So first I'll give a little introduction about Zen. Zen is a practice of using meditation to gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the truth of nature, which we call dharma. Zen isn't really a religion because it doesn't provide any metaphysical answers. Instead, it's a practice which guides you through meditation to find the truth within yourself. This is why I hold these classes, so we can practice meditation and encourage each other to keep seeking a deeper truth that lies within us. There's no requirement that you believe anything specific or follow a certain set of rules. It's more about opening up your mind and putting down your preconceived notions. I believe that anyone can use these techniques to benefit from them, regardless of their religious background or spiritual beliefs. I call the way I teach the mind light way, and I explain it like this. The mind is the foundation of who you are. Some might call it your heart, your spirit, your soul, or your consciousness. The light of your mind illuminates the world, the universe, and beyond. The path to understanding the mind is the way. In Zen Buddhism, we say to attain enlightenment, you must see your mind and understand the true essence of your being. However, the mind isn't a material object, so how can you see it? This question is a koan. Koans are challenges designed to make us reconsider our preconceptions about the world we live in. In Zen practice, we approach this type of challenge by planting the question in our mind like a seed. Then we use meditation to clear out all of the thoughts, desires, feelings, and emotions. When our mind is free from these obstructions, its light can pierce through the emptiness and reflect off everything in the universe. This radiant light incubates the seed, illuminating its path to grow and blossom. So finding the answer to this koan and attaining enlightenment can be very difficult, and it takes a long time of dedicated practice to achieve. But there are many other benefits that you can get from just meditating a little bit every day. In the most basic form of Zen meditation, we sit quietly and focus on a mantra to clear our mind. When your mind is clear, you can think clearly and make better decisions for yourself. When you think clearly and make better decisions, you can take actions which are more beneficial to yourself, to the people around you, and to the world we live in. My teacher would describe this process by saying, a clear mind makes clear thinking and clear action. A mantra could also be your breath, your actions, or anything else you choose. What you use as a mantra is not as critical as your ability to stay focused on it. When we use our actions as our mantra, we call this moving meditation. By completely focusing on whatever tasks you're doing, you can keep your mind from wandering off and thinking about other things. When your mind is filled with too many thoughts, it's hard to think clearly, and it can cloud your judgment. When your thoughts start to snowball around in your head, it can lead to feeling stressed or anxious, depressed, or overly emotional. In any of these states, it's hard to make good decisions. So if you can completely focus on whatever you're doing, your mind is completely in the present moment. When you're operating like this, you'll be less likely to make mistakes in whatever you're doing. The actions you take will be clear. By staying focused on your actions, you clear out all of the irrelevant thoughts and think clearly about what you're doing. If you stay completely focused on what you're doing, you'll completely clear your mind. In this way, clear actions clear out your thinking and produce a clear mind. It works both ways. A clear mind makes clear thinking and clear action makes clear thinking and a clear mind. So with that said, let's move into practicing some different types of sitting meditation to help us clear our mind. So when we meditate, we typically sit with our legs crossed. You want to just keep your back and neck straight and have good posture. Try not to slouch. I usually have my hands, right hand, left hand touching thumbs like this, centered in your lap. For some of these, I usually close my eyes. Some of them I'll say it's okay to have your eyes open, but if they're open, you want them at like a 45-degree angle, looking at the floor. So before we get started with the meditations, let's just practice a breathing technique that can help you relax and prepare yourself for meditation. So I just want you to start breathing a little bit slower and a little bit deeper than you usually do. Visualize your heart in the center of your chest as you breathe. As you listen to me, I want you to slow down your breath and breathe a little bit slower and a little bit deeper. Feel your breath coming in through your nose and mouth and collecting all of the energy from your brain and moving it from your head into your heart. Imagine now that you're breathing with your heart. The purpose of this is to try to align our mind, heart, and body. You can also place your hand on your heart and close your eyes if you'd like. Just keep breathing a little bit slower and a bit deeper as I talk. This is a technique you can use to relax or reset yourself whenever you feel nervous or anxious, whenever you feel like you need to switch gears from different activities you're doing throughout the day. You can use it when you wake up, before you enter a stressful meeting, before you go to sleep, or before you meditate. So let's just take a few more moments to take some slow and deep breaths. So one of the most basic meditation techniques you can use is breathing meditation. In traditional Zen meditation, we usually focus on a mantra. The mantra is typically a word or a phrase that's repeated within your mind, that's used to push out all of the other thoughts. In this part of class, we'll use our breath as our mantra. For this technique, we'll just sit still and quietly count our breaths. During this meditation, try to stay focused on your breath. If you lose count, that's a sign that you've lost focus. As soon as you have that realization, just start over and start counting again. You can do this technique with your eyes opened or closed. If your eyes are open, your gaze should be towards the floor. So let's practice this together for a few minutes. Open your eyes now. If you ever feel uncomfortable while you're meditating, you can definitely stretch out your legs or stand up if you need to. Just try to be quiet and respectful of everyone meditating around you. So next we're going to go through a series of meditations which can help you set your intentions for your life. The first is a meditation on gratitude. We're just going to take a few minutes to remind ourselves of the reasons we have to be grateful and to give thanks within our mind. For example, I always like to remind myself to be thankful for my health, my family, my friends, and my teachers. The things you're thankful for could be very general, or they could be very specific. That's up to you. No matter how bad things get in my life, I always like to remind myself that I still have plenty to be thankful for. This helps me keep a positive perspective and outlook in every circumstance. Now I want you to close your eyes for a few minutes and think about the things in your life that you are thankful or grateful for. If you can't think of a long list of things to be thankful for, that's okay. You can just repeat a few things in your mind and repeat them over and over again like that's your mantra. So I'll just hit the muktak to get started, and then when we're done. Well, I'm thankful you all came here tonight as well, so thanks for joining me. In this next meditation, I want to focus on forgiveness. This can be a really difficult one. It's not always easy to forgive, but it can be an essential part of healing ourselves. Here we're going to take a moment to forgive ourselves and the others in our lives. This is a chance to acknowledge our mistakes and the mistakes of others that have caused us harm and express our forgiveness. This is not to make an excuse for the harm that's been done or the person that caused the harm. It's more to acknowledge that harboring feelings of anger, hatred, and resentment can prevent us from being compassionate, and this can stunt our own personal growth. This doesn't mean that you have to welcome someone that's harmed you back into your life, or that you should continue to expose yourself to more harm in any way. It's more about empowering yourself to remove the emotional shackles that the harm may have caused you, so that you can move on from that burden. So let's just take a few moments to forgive ourselves and others for the mistakes, and forgive them for the harm that's been done. Let's also pray that we don't continue to harm others in ways which cause unnecessary suffering. Now let's close our eyes for a few minutes and focus on forgiveness. You can open your eyes again. Now we're going to take a few minutes to focus on affirmations. Affirmations are just positive statements or phrases that are repeated in our mind with the intention of cultivating a positive mindset. The idea behind affirmations is to reinforce positive thoughts and to motivate ourselves to focus on our strengths, goals, and desired outcomes. The affirmations could be anything that's meaningful to you, but here are a few ideas you could use, and you can tell yourself some that I like to use. Each breath is a mantra that clears my mind. Each breath connects me to the world around me. My actions are my mantra. My mantra keeps me focused on each moment. I embrace change with a clear mind. I'm liberated from my attachment to my thoughts, opinions, and desires. Love and compassion fill my heart and guide my actions. I treat myself and others with kindness and compassion. My destiny is to attain enlightenment. I believe in myself and my ability to stay true to my path. You can use anything else that you prefer as well. Use your affirmations as a mantra during this meditation. Now let's take a few minutes to remind ourselves of our intentions and our aspirations. Now we're going to focus on our prayers. You can pray for yourself, the world, and the universe. I usually pray for good health, happiness, and success in my endeavors. I also pray for the good health and good fortune of my family, my friends, my teachers, and enlightenment for everyone in the world. You can pray for a friend or a family member that's sick. You can pray for peace and harmony in the world. You can pray for anything you want. Just be careful what you ask for. When you pray, the air collects your prayers and brings them out into the world where they gather and create potential. The more you pray, the more you stir the winds of fortune, which will fill the sails for your journey. Now let's take a few minutes and remind ourselves of our prayers. So the gratitude and prayer meditations are something I do every day before I bow and chant. Forgiveness is something I focus on whenever I feel anger or resentment. Today we've planted the seeds which affirm ourselves, our gratitude, our ability to forgive, and our prayers. Now we can move into the traditional mantra meditation to clear our mind of all the extraneous thoughts that grow like weeds. This will allow the seeds that we want to nurture and grow to become the beautiful flowers that we imagine. You can use the previous techniques to set your intentions and create clarity in your life. However, if you want to attain enlightenment, you need to push beyond your thoughts and words to a realm that transcends life and death. To reach this point, you have to completely empty your mind. In Zen, we use meditation to help us reach this point. The traditional technique we use in Zen is mantra meditation. So in this one, we'll just be focusing on a mantra to clear our mind. The mantra is the focal point of meditation, usually a word or a phrase that's repeated within your mind. If you try not to think, thoughts will inevitably come into your mind. So by focusing on the mantra, you can use it to push out all of the other thoughts. When you meditate on a mantra, try to let go of your feelings, opinions, desire, and ego. As you meditate, only concentrate on your mantra. If another thought comes into your mind, let it pass and return to focusing on your mantra. You can use anything you want as a mantra during meditation, but I usually suggest using the mantra of Koan Bosal. So it's Koan Bosal. Koan Bosal is the bodhisattva of love and compassion in Korean Zen. A bodhisattva is an important teacher in Buddhism. She's often depicted with thousands of eyes and hands, and is said to be able to see the suffering of everyone and help those who call out her name. Using this mantra will bring compassionate energy towards you while you meditate. Drawing compassionate energy towards you is like giving water to your seeds. So now let's just close our eyes and meditate for a few minutes on our mantra. So today we've talked about sitting and moving meditation, as well as breathing, gratitude, forgiveness, affirmations, and prayers. If you will learn to incorporate these things into your daily routine, it'll help you to improve your mindset and help you to keep your mind clear. Another form of meditation that you can use to improve your quality of life is exercise. Exercise is another way you can clear your mind by focusing on your actions. It could be anything: running, biking, weightlifting, yoga, or martial arts. I'd recommend doing something in some form of exercise you enjoy. Also, it doesn't always have to be hard. You can switch it up. Some days it could be a gentle recovery exercise like walking. If you can incorporate 15 to 20 minutes of exercise into your day, it'll help you to maintain your health and help you to learn how to focus on your actions. Just going for a walk can be a sacred experience if you pay close attention to everything going on around you. If you resist labeling things and try not to attach any thoughts to what you're observing, it can have a profound effect on your experience. Try to ignore the conceptual boundaries that we create through thinking. Recognize that the experience you're having is an exchange and an interaction between everything around you, and your body is participating in this exchange. Try to be aware of everything that's going on around you through all of your senses. This practice can help you develop a heightened awareness and a sense of unity with the world we live in. An artistic practice can also be another form of moving meditation. Whether it's painting, drawing, making music, writing, dance, or any other creative process you enjoy or are curious about. If you focus more on cultivating a consistent practice of creating without any expectations about the results, you can learn to tap into a state of mind where your creations flow through you without overthinking. If you can engage in an artistic practice on a regular basis, it can enhance your meditation practice and help you learn to apply meditation to different parts of your life and different forms and actions that you're doing. So these forms of sitting and moving meditation that we talked about today will help you learn to focus your mind and keep it clear. If you can incorporate just a few of these into your daily routine, it will help you maintain a clear mind. I'd suggest starting by committing 5 minutes a day to practice one or two of these techniques every single day. Eventually, once you establish a routine, you can expand your practice and try going a little bit longer or incorporating some of the other techniques. These are all techniques that I use, and it's a prescription that could be helpful to anyone. When your mind is clear, you let go of your ego, opinions, and desires. These practices can help you to relax and overcome stress, anxiety, and depression. Meditation allows you to get off the roller coaster of feelings, thoughts, and emotions that we sometimes get stuck on. This is a way you can be compassionate to yourself and reduce your own suffering. When you're less focused on your thoughts, you become a better listener to the world and to the people around you. When you listen carefully, you can better understand other people and develop an increased sense of empathy and goodwill. When you truly understand other people, you can better relate to their situation, and you'll want to show them the same compassion you've learned to show yourself. If you can practice these things a little bit every day, then eventually you can learn to expand your meditation practice to include everything you do in your life. Then your mind will always be clear. This will allow you to recognize the inherent beauty within yourself that is a reflection of everything that surrounds you. The air you breathe and the water you drink constantly collect your thoughts and then bring them back out into the world. All of these thoughts collect in the universe. So the more you think about something or pray for something, the more potential it creates. Every time you say your mantra, it's like tossing a penny into the wishing well of the universe. If you want $1 million, you need to collect a lot of pennies. If you want to clear your mind, you need to stay focused on your mantra. If you want to attain enlightenment, keep meditating and keep seeking the path. Eventually, all of the potential that you've created will push open the gate. Then, if your mind is completely clear, you'll see the way, and you can go through. Until then, just keep going. I wish you good luck on your journey. So I hope these ideas and techniques that I discussed tonight are helpful, and I'd be happy to answer some questions for a bit if anybody has any about anything we talked about, or any thoughts you had on how some of these practices were. Any kind of feedback if you're interested. You look like you have a question.
Kind of an observation. So in some of say like the gratitude and forgiveness, when I was searching for things to think about, I found myself wandering and sort of getting into the more frantic parts of my mind. Is there a way to kind of quietly search for those things when you're seeking things to be grateful for?
It's a good question. I think that's a very natural thing that happens, So I think when you're preparing, I do this a lot. So I kind of have a list I go to and then I kind of expand off of that. So that's one way. It's kind of hard when I'm just presenting this to you out of the blue to do that. But so that's one thing I do. The other thing I'd say is the more you practice, the better you get at kind of shutting out those frantic parts. And then again, I'll say just some days are better than others. Like some days it's easy to meditate and you feel like, oh, this was perfect. It made everything feel better. And then some days you feel like it's a struggle. And that's why I say I really suggest just trying to take like a few minutes every day, whether it's good or bad, and just do that few minutes. Some days you might want to go more, some days you want to go less, but having that routine, and it's like an exercise. If you don't do it regularly, you don't get better at it. So that would be my main advice. It's practice. That's why they call it Zen practice and meditation practice. Yeah, you got to keep trying, and I've done it for many years, and some days it's still difficult, but it definitely, you get better at it the more you do it.
If I can just add something to the answer. For me, I start from like from a time perspective, like by saying I woke up this morning, so I'm grateful I woke up this morning, and then going to breakfast, I'm grateful I had my food to eat, and I'm grateful for the weather, and then like just going mentally to how my day was, and then every action I did or everything I did, just find something to be grateful about in my 24 hours. But it's right, like the more you practice, the more you build on this, of things to be grateful for.
Thank you.
That's really great advice. I'm just going to repeat that so it's on here. She was saying to focus on the things you did throughout your day and pick things out from the beginning of the day that you were thankful, and then all throughout the day, and just kind of go through your day and think about all those things. That's great advice. Thank you for adding that. Appreciate it. Anyone, any other questions?
I'm fixating on this, so I'll just go ahead and speak about it. I don't know where to go with it, but the counting meditation.
Yeah.
I didn't use count, but I still felt like it wasn't a good measure of time because the numbers would get kind of slippery, right? Be grasping at it, or it was just 1, 2 was all the way over here, 3, 4, and then and so it was kind of this.
Were you counting your breaths or just counting?
I was counting my breath, yeah.
Okay.
But it was, so I'm glad so to that, I felt like my breathing was a little bit strained at points, because I was overthinking the pacing.
Okay.
Counting.
Yeah, sometimes I will count, and I didn't say this, but the way I breathe, you can count once per in and out, or you can count 1 on the in, 2 on the out. I was counting tonight 1 in, 1 out, so I was double counting. You can play around with that and see if it helps. There's no real wrong way to do it. It's more just a different form of mantra. To me, I find it helps me. Usually I slow down my breath, which I think helps me kind of relax and kind of sets the stage for the different parts of the meditation process we were going through tonight. But that's, did you have another? I mean, I didn't know. I don't think I gave you like the greatest answer to that about, or was it just a comment? I don't know.
It was just a comment. It was just something I noticed that I was struggling with, and I'm glad you asked me about the breath, because that was the other thing.
Yeah.
That was a thing I was straining.
There's a variation on this where when you breathe in, you go boo, and when you breathe out, you go da, like boo da. So that's a variation on a. I tend to just go with counting because I try to make it somewhat agnostic, so that if you don't want to say Buddha, you don't have to. But there again, I use the Kwansen Bosal, which is a bodhisattva, but same thing. It's more about having something to focus on your mind and trying to use that to clear out your mind. And like what I was saying before is some days it's way harder than others, and it just takes practice to get really good at clearing your mind. I mean, we've spent so much time filling our mind throughout the day that clearing it is, it's like if you let things build up and build up, it's harder to clear out, So it's like if I left all of my stuff on the floor in here, it would take a lot longer to clear out than right now where there's not as much stuff. So it's, and if you have a routine, then you just develop, like, say, when you wake up, the first 5 minutes, sit on the edge of your bed and meditate. Then you won't carry things throughout your day that, maybe were bothering you, or do it before you go to bed. Just kind of build it into your day, and then you'll have it's kind of like taking a shower. You take a shower every day because it makes you clean and smell better. And if you do that for your mind by meditating, it'll help you just keep that clear, and you'll carry around that clear energy with you. And then everything you do, you can kind of look at with a fresh perspective, and you're not taking in, emotions from the guy who cut you off in traffic into your conversation with, your coworker or something like that. So that's, one of the other little benefits you can get by doing that is just kind of learning to clear out that stuff. So then you're really approaching the moment for what it is, and you're present in that moment, and you're having the right reactions for what's happening. So, yeah, but I agree with you. Some days it is difficult, and some days I can sit very comfortably, and other days my leg will hurt, and that is just another thing that pops up sometimes. And honestly, if you're uncomfortable ever, also don't become too attached to these positions either. You can sit in a chair, just try to keep a good posture. You can even lay down flat on your back if you want, if you're really not feeling well. I meditate a lot while I'm in bed, especially if I'm sick or something. I use a meditation to try and clear out my body, and I kind of focus on parts that are ailing me and directing my mind energy and telling it to heal. So that's another different form of meditation. It's my teacher used to always say, if you don't ask for something, you don't get it. So if you're not asking your body to heal, it won't always listen. So if you ask, you're more likely to get what you want if you ask. So that's my theory on praying and affirmations and all of those types of things. It's does it always work? Maybe not. But does it hurt to ask? No, I don't think so. And it's if you want to go to the movies with your friend, if you just think about it, it might not work. But if you ask, then they're more likely to go with you. Oh, anything else? Just checking. I have some people sometimes in the chat, but nothing there. So, well, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, I just want to make a few announcements kind of about what's going on here. As I said before, I do another meditation and talk where I'll talk more a lot about meditation, why you meditate, the realm of the mind and enlightenment and things like that. It can have a wide-ranging type of topic, but I'll talk more along those lines. And basically we do some of the breathing very briefly, and then mostly the mantra meditation, which we really did a small amount of here. So I do that on the third Thursday of every month, so that's 2 weeks from today. I also host Zen art and writing groups, so I was talking about using an art form as a form of meditation, and then also I use meditation in that class as a way to inspire us, and as a source of it can become a source of inspiration for your creations. So I'm trying to teach people about how those practices can be they can help each other, So it's mostly a brief meditation, and then we just work together and we share our creations, and it's mostly just to inspire each other to be creative. I think being creative is another way you can bring what's in your mind out into reality and get a reflection of your mind in a lot of ways. So so the writers group is the second Sunday of every month, so that's this weekend coming up. No, I have the date here. It'll be August 11th, so that's actually a week from this Sunday. And then I do the Zen Artist Collective the fourth Saturday of every month. So that's August 24th. And the Saturday and Sunday classes are 3:30 to 5, if you're ever interested. It's also on my meetup group, so those are all listed, or on my webpage. You don't need any prior experience to participate in any of these classes, just curiosity. And if you want to stay updated, I do an email letter once a month with the classes and some of these kind of insights, clips from these talks, things like that. So there's a little sign-up sheet on the back. Feel free to sign up. And then lastly, I rely solely on donations to be able to continue to offer these classes. So if you can afford to make a donation, I appreciate it. There's a jar in my Venmo and Cash App information. You can see that on the back table near the email list. And you're all welcome to hang out for a while and strike up a conversation if you want to meet me or anybody else here and chat for a little while. And other than that, I am thankful to all of you for coming and happy to meditate with you. Appreciate it. And thank you. Have a good night.